Introducing Minor Wisdom Quintet.
1, 2, a skidoo-doo-doo.
Minor Wisdom.
So my intention this week was to have a few people on that had attended the Fringe Festival in Scotland in August, but I got one, and that one was enough. It's Mr. Dusty Davidson, teaches at ESD, the Episcopal School of Dallas, and Small World. So does, well, my uncle, sort of. It's my aunt's brother-in-law, but I've known him for most of my life, so I call him my uncle. But my uncle as well teaches there, Uncle Mike. So it's kind of a small world. It's kind of funny. We just kind of ran into each other, and I said, hey, my uncle teaches there, and he knew who he was. And Dusty did spend a lot of time down in Houston, Texas as well, and made his way up to Dallas to teach at one of the best private schools in the state of Texas. They have a lot of amenities at their disposal. Anyway, so that is this week. Next week, I don't have much lined up for you. It might end up being something where I interview my wife. Maybe I interview myself. Maybe we just chit-chat. Or somebody's going to get interviewed. And then the week after that, we've got TETA interviews all over the place. So my plan is to attack a lot of you at TETA with a microphone, get to know people that I haven't gotten to know, maybe even catch up with people that have been on in the past. But TETA is on the horizon, so I hope to see a lot of you there. I will be sporting my Minor Wisdom t-shirt, so please look for me. Please stop me. Introduce yourself. I would love to talk to a lot of you once I get there, and just get to know a lot of you, get to know your stories, your backgrounds, where you came from, all that good stuff. Speaking of swag, make sure you purchase one of those shirts. Again, the proceeds go to the people in the Bahamas. Make sure you're following me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, which I haven't really, again, I need to be better at that. And make sure you are liking this podcast. Tell your friends. I'm going to go national very soon. I want to start getting more people on from the national scene so that we just get a perspective from all around the country. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your Groner Joke of the Week. What did the daughter corn ask the mommy corn? Hey, where's popcorn?
Well, I'm a Texan through and through. I was born in Abilene, Texas, and grew up there. Graduated from Abilene High and went to Abilene Christian University. And then when I started teaching, I went to Atlanta, Georgia, and taught out there for my first 3 years. And I was teaching French and a little bit of theater and doing some theater on the side. I double majored in French and theater, which seems kind of odd, but to me it made sense. I've always had a fascination with foreign cultures and different people and everything outside of what I knew. And so it was kind of the same thing to me that, French, I was studying a different culture and different people. And that's the same experience you get with theater too. You always see different people and different cultures and, different experiences. So it was all kind of interrelated to me. But then I moved back to Abilene for family reasons and was able to take my old theater teacher's job. Terry Castleberry retired or moved on to a different position. And so I was hired to take her place back in Abilene. So I taught there for a few years before getting recruited to go teach at Stratford High School in Houston, and got a lot of great experience down there with musical theater and teaching, and then wound up moving to the Dallas area for personal reasons. And I've been here for 13 years now. So I've been teaching 29 years, participated in UIL a lot. But my first experience with UIL actually was not in high school. I participated in theater in high school, but I didn't do one-act play. So my first experience was when I moved back to Abilene and started teaching. In our first year, I was teaching with Diane Moore now. She's married. And we didn't know what we were doing when I played. Somehow we made it to region that year. So That was pretty crazy. So, but yeah, I've loved the theater experience, theater education in Texas. I think it's one of the best that we've in the country. I think UIL, when I play, has a lot to do with that. And Theater Fest, I love going to Theater Fest. I've been a member my whole teaching career for that. So just getting insight from all the theater teachers and the people that you admire the most. It's just been a great experience being a theater teacher in Texas. So, and here I am now.
Yeah, and
So,
do you mind saying where you are now?
I'm at the Episcopal School of Dallas
Okay.
in Dallas, Texas, and I'm teach high school theater, and I'm also the chair of the fine arts department for the whole school. We do pre-K starting at 3 years old up through high school. So
Yeah. So the Small World feature, for those 3 fans of mine that are listening, it's always a joke that I say 3. I don't know why, but started way back when, my large fan base. But the Small World is that when you and I went on the Fringe there, what do they call it? The
FAM trip, the familiarization.
Yeah, the
trip,
familiarization trip that I guess I saw that you were going, and we connected before the trip. Is that correct? That we had a common connection, that my sort of uncle by marriage is a coach and has been a coach at ESD for 167 years, I think.
Yeah, forever. Yeah, I think since the school has been in existence.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, he's been there a long time.
And he's Jewish too, so that's always we always we kind of rib him on that one, like how
Jewish at an Episcopal school. That's always
yeah. So that's always fun. But yeah, that's our small world connection, is that we both know Mike, and both speak highly of him, and he speaks highly of you. So if he says good things about you, then I guess I can trust you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. So the main reason I had you on, you do have a vast, long career, and I'm assuming you started when you were like 14, so you're not really that old.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So I'm really not that old.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's deceiving. But I wanted to get you on to hear about your experience at the Fringe Festival. I know a lot of people apply to go, and not everybody gets to go. We applied, we started raising money, and then just because of different reasons, financial reasons, we were unable to go. But I was still able to milk the familiarization trip out of the whole experience, and that was great. And seeing the Fringe,
Yeah.
But you guys ended up going. What show did you guys take?
We took She Kills Monsters.
Okay. And how was that received over there? Because I know over here it's very popular right now, but how was that received over there?
Yeah, really, really well. We're in a situation too, being an Episcopal school, we had to edit for content in a lot of ways, and so it was for a horrible way of putting it, a watered down version of the show, with language and some other content, but it was really well received. We one of the hardest things about the Fringe is how are you going to get a show into a new country, with the limitations of props and costumes and set pieces and what you can take and how you're going to do it. And with this show, with the whole idea of the puppetry and all that kind of stuff, it was just a little, we worked really hard at figuring out, okay, how can we simplify this? Because the space that we were put in was a much smaller space than what we're used to. It was maybe a third of the size of our black box theater.
Which space were you put in? Was it the church?
We were in venue 45, which was St. Paul's Episcopal.
Okay.
And it wasn't in the actual. It was like in their fellowship room,
right.
And there were 4 poles in the middle of the room, and basically gave us a 13-foot by 13-foot acting space.
Okay.
And with 9 actors or more, that can fill up really quickly. So, so that was interesting to kind of have to work around all of that. But I love a good challenge. So we tended to we kind of went with the whole puppetry part of She Kills Monsters, and strictly with animation. We have an animation club at our school, and so they were vital in helping us get some stuff together for that. So that was really helpful with them, and really kind of simplifying it and making it fit the space, because I just don't know how, large it was hard enough with, just 9 bodies that didn't have puppets attached to them to I don't know how we would have done it otherwise. So, yeah, it was interesting. The fundraising part of it, we were very lucky. Being in private school, we had financial assistance for those who needed it, and we didn't have to do really any fundraising. And I know that was a big aspect of it. It was a great trip, but it can be very expensive, particularly for lower income families and things like that.
Yeah.
So, so we were fortunate we didn't have to do that part of it all.
How did you end up getting your production over there? Were you road cases, or did you have kids just pack an extra suitcase, or what'd you end up doing?
Well, it was kind of crazy. I did all the research with the airlines. Once we found out what airline we were on, we were flying British Airways, and so I read up on what was acceptable, what wasn't acceptable, and so we bought road cases and ran into a situation. Of course, the best laid plans, and I'll say everything that went wrong had nothing to do with the actual American High School Theater Festival. It was the airlines that
Right.
was the worst part of it all. So we bought road cases, and they fit the guidelines of what was acceptable for the cargo hold. And I knew that they were probably going to be a little bit overweight, because I was trying to pack all of the props and the costumes in the road cases, because I was trying to limit everything that we were taking on. And so we got everything packed, and I knew they were just a little bit overweight. Well, I read online, you just have to pay extra for, the overage and stuff. And so we got there, and I don't know if it was because we were, in a smaller plane, but we wound up having to unpack the cases, and I had to have somebody bring me extra suitcases. So we took the costumes out and packed them in those, and threw away half of our flyers that we were going to be busking with, and to get get it down underweight to where we to get the cases on, and then pay for the 2 cases and now 2 extra suitcases. So it turned into a little bit of a drama there at the airport, but I had anticipated a few issues, so we got there really, really, really early. So we made the plane with plenty of time, and that wasn't an issue at all. The interesting part was flying back. We'd gotten rid of all of our flyers that we had, so we had less that we were packing in the cases and suitcases, and somehow the cases were overweight again, and they were the exact same weights as they were before. So we went through the same drama again on the way back, and of course that was a little more frustrating, because it was like at 4:00 in the morning, so I wasn't, and I hadn't had coffee yet, so I wasn't near as happy then as the first time. So.
And you don't have that built-in. You don't have a parent waiting for you at home that can drive something over to you.
Right. So we did wind up carrying some of the. Luckily, we had packed all the costumes in packing bags, and so we just carried some of those on with us, and that worked out fine. So.
What do you think is something your kids took away from this compared to what you took away from it? Because I'm assuming their kind of takeaway was a little different than yours.
Yeah, the familiarization trip was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, and it was a lot of work through the process. Just learning about the do's and don'ts, and in the theater in Scotland as opposed to the high school educational theater in Texas, there were vast differences. I think the kids took away from just the vast array of what's out there. They were able to see lots of different performances. We saw 6 or 7 high school performances plus other performances from professional and semi-professional groups, and it really was eye-opening to them just to see the creativity and the performances that you see around the full gamut of there's some stuff that's really, really good, and then there's some things that are not as good as as they would want it to be. But again, you're in a foreign country doing the best you can, so who's going to fault that? But it was just they were just really impressed with everything that they saw, even the things that they didn't feel were at their best, they were able to take away, positive things about. And it was just really interesting to hear the critiques of shows and how positive they were about everything that they saw.
That's good. What's something that you would have done different, do you think? Would you, if you were to do this again, would you take a show as sort of involved as She Kills Monsters, or would you kind of
No.
pare down? Yeah.
I would pare it down again. It wound up actually being pretty easy without having to do the puppets and the expensive costumes for it. So, I think the simpler the better, really.
Yeah.
Find creative ways of dealing with things. And that was kind of the fun part of it for me, was like just the challenge of, okay, so we're not going to do this, so how are we going to do it? Finding creative ways of doing it. It made it really, really interesting for us as we worked on it and kind of exploring, options and, going, well, no, that's not really going to work. So what else can we do instead? That was interesting. The process was a long one, when you find out that you're getting to go, and then, the build up to the FAM trip, and then you have a year from the FAM trip to the time you actually go. And the FAM trip was really interesting, seeing the spaces and realizing, this is what the possibility of where we could be, and seeing what other shows were doing and how they had to make changes, and then just the whole cutting thing. Luckily, all the years of UIL made that part fairly easy to cut a script down to the time limit. So I think the thing that I would do differently, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
It's easier and keep less stressful if the simpler you keep it. It may not be as big and flashy as you want it to be, but to me, it's all about the acting and about the story anyway. So
Yeah. What was did the kids have haggis?
They did. They actually liked it, which was interesting. So it was nothing that I think any of them would order again. They bought one order of haggis, and each kind of took a bite of it and was like, well, that's not as bad. And then we told them what it was, and they were fine knowing that they had tried it and that it was good, but it was nothing they were going to order again.
Yeah. I remember very, very clearly I guess one of our tour guides or one of our, leaders or whatever had that like bag of haggis, like it was a bag of chips, and was just offering it up. I did not try it. I don't necessarily regret it, but I did not try it.
I tried it when I was in Scotland previously, and kind of felt the same way. It's like, well, I can say that I've been there and done that now.
Yeah.
So no need to do it again.
That's funny. What do you think was something like a piece of advice that you would give somebody that, other than the keep it simple, that's looking to go this year, whether it's with HSTF or another organization, or just trying to go to the Fringe, or I guess not this year, but starting to plan this year for the summer?
Well, it is all in the planning. Just be prepared to be very organized and plan ahead of time. The deadlines for even just logos and things like that came up so much quicker than I would normally do it for a show that I was producing here. Really kind of kept me on my toes, and just paying attention to those deadlines, and just trying to stay ahead of the game, because it can be very overwhelming if you're not organized and on top of things, and just keep good notes and watch the deadlines and the schedule of things. That was the thing that was really kind of the surprise to me, was just because of it being the Fringe and how early they start advertising and stuff, that the deadlines for what they needed and how things were to be advertised, and all of that was just in the meantime, we're trying to do our shows here. That was a bit overwhelming. So that was the thing I would say, is just be prepared to do a lot of work, and do it a lot earlier than you would normally think you'd have to do it. Did you do?
I'm assuming the answer is yes, but did you do your production here or in Texas?
We were actually doing it next week.
Okay.
We did an invited audience performance before we left, family and faculty. But we're doing it for the school and the general public next week.
Okay. And is it the same version, or are you guys putting a little more time onto it, or is it?
No, we're doing the same version, and we're doing it in our black box theater. Normally, it would be our on our main stage, but we're doing it in our black box, and I'll give a little spiel about our experience and why it's staged the way that it is. We're doing it pretty much exactly how we did it in Scotland.
Okay, cool. That's fun. And then final question, then I'll let you have your weekend back. But you, I've seen on your Facebook, you are a Basset Hound lover. Is that correct?
I am a Basset Hound fanatic.
Yeah. Well, so I'm a dog guy too, but I guess I don't have a specific dog. Why the Basset Hound?
Oh, they are just goofy and fun-loving, and just the best cuddlers that you would ever want.
Yeah. Not too slobbery.
Sweet dogs. They can be, and
Yeah.
they can shed a lot. So just be prepared for that if you get one.
Yeah.
But
They're cute.
the sweetest, funniest, happiest dogs. Even
Yeah.
though they look sad, they're happy.
Yeah, even though they look, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're given a bad rap in the animated world as far as being kind of droopy. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're pretty smart too, but they're also pretty stubborn. So you just have to be prepared for that too.
Well, that's cute. Yeah, I've enjoyed seeing the Basset Hounds. So on your Facebook, the love that you have for dogs is nice. The cats can stay outside.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Dusty. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I just wanted to get a little brief, version of your time in Scotland, and
it was a great trip. If people are able to do it, I recommend doing it. I think our kids learned a lot. I learned a lot, and just the experience of Scotland and Edinburgh alone is worth the trip.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city, a beautiful country. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo was an experience with my kids. That was a favorite part of the trip, and just something that I highly recommend people doing. It was a great experience. A lot of work, but well worth it.
Was it cold when you guys went to the tattoo?
No, it was. We got lucky the night we went. The temperature was really nice. I think it was in the 60s.
Okay.
The wind was blowing a little bit, so it was a little chilly, but not cold.
Okay.
The weather was great. We held off for us. The next night, it poured down rain, so there was another group that was going that night, and they sat through it in the rain. So we were lucky and happy the night we went.
Yes. Yeah, I bought a sweatshirt because I was a little chilly the night we went on the fam tour. So, yeah I remember that well. But that is cool. The tattoo is very cool, and I bet most of the kids, before they were told what it is, they thought, we're going to get tattoos? Because I know that's what I thought. Yeah,
it's like, it's not really a tattoo, it's a tattoo.
yeah, the noise of the tattoo. Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.